Kia ora and welcome back to another week of Sal's Hoop Heads. I'm Brook joined by Casey Frank and someone who can actually finally play the game of basketball. We have a very special guest with us today, Crystal Ledger-Walker. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We roped you into this one. How are you feeling? Obviously, you guys are a bit of a roller coaster, I guess, for you guys and the standards that you guys have, but a big win in the weekend.
Yeah, no, that was massive, beating Tauihi at Tauihi, which, yeah, we fell to them first game of the season and was definitely a wake-up call for us, so we're happy to get that one.
Early in this one, the Kahu has had a bit of a turbulent lineup. Don't have all your talent, players coming in and out. How's that been from a team perspective? Is it great to have that opportunity to play a little bit more before some of the big guns came in, or is it just really tough?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's great for the young players in our team to get more minutes and gel with our team some more, but as you mentioned, we're missing the reigning MVP of the league, and also Chedar's been in and out a little bit, and we're still waiting on Tess Madgen to come in, who will be a massive difference.
Bit of talent.
It's not bad, man. It's not bad. Can I talk about the pace that you guys play at? I found it really interesting, the game against the Fire. You guys had chances to push the pace, but you guys were sitting, I think with about 3 minutes to go, you had no fast break points. You guys were filling it up, but you guys just really took the pace off it and were playing your own style. Was that a choice, or you guys just limited in the options?
A little bit of both. I mean, we wanted to slow it down. Fire's a three-point shooting team and they love to get out and rack up the points, so we definitely wanted to slow the game down and kind of play the possession game with them.
Now, it was a busy weekend for you guys, but it was a busy weekend for everybody, and we expect nothing less as we take a look at this ladder right here. The Fire and the Queens, they kicked it off in Queens' big weekend. It was a close one, that second game between the Polokai and the Tauihi. You guys did the job, 83-71 against the Fire. Then the Queens and the Polokai down the bottom. And to wrap it up, the weekend that was Tauihi and you guys with the Kahu. Now let's take a look at a few of these games. Let's start with that first one with the Fire and the Queens. And the Queens, they look good, man. The way they have started this season, I really like Carr running the cutter there. They look good to start.
I love the backcourt. Chrislyn Carr, Steph Watts, they put a lot of pressure on oppositions in transition. They've got great ball handling abilities and the skill to finish at the rim, which I'm sure is putting a lot of pressure on defenses.
Yeah, 100%. They're elite finishers, I mean, coming out of two great collegiate programs. So excited to see how they'll continue on this season.
Talk about Cara as well, because that's a matchup that you have defensively. You like to get up, you like to get in. That's a hell of a challenge, but one you probably look forward to as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, she's a quick guard. She has jets, and you definitely can't gamble too much on her. She'll punish you for sure. So yeah, she's one to watch for.
Good effort from the Fire as well. They put up a lot of threes, but just didn't quite have the interior strength against Maya Dotson. But the way that Sarah Segar was playing, Sarah Segar, sorry if I've said it wrong, Sarah. I'm working on it. I'm working on the Austrian. And Michaela Callan came together, put it together. They've got a lot of talent, but they haven't come together for a full game just yet.
Well, I'll tell you one team that has come together nice and early in the season, and a bit of a revival season after the season they had last year. It was a close one to the Polokai, but they won the Tauihi, won 74-75, and Ashton Pretzel, geez, she is good.
Well, of course, what I'm thinking of this one is the finish. They were down 72, I think 59, and went on to just score 2 points the rest of the way as the Polokai. A great come from behind win for the Tauihi, but the Polokai struggling at times, especially down the stretch. But you don't have to talk to that.
No, the Polokai, yeah. But I do like the way Tauihi finished, and like you said, got it done down the stretch. I think the difference in that is their team culture and their chemistry. I think you can tell they stayed together and weathered the storm and got it done in the end.
Well, I'll tell you one team that did get it done over the weekend. We've already touched on it already, but we'll start with the first game that you guys had out in Franklin Leisure Centre right here, and you guys won this one 83-71 to the Fire, and that lady on screen right now, Penina Davison, was huge.
Yeah, man, she is massive for us. Her and Amari inside, I think, is definitely some of the best bigs that we've seen here in New Zealand, not just this year, but previously too. So they're exciting to watch. I'm glad Penina's home and able to play, and yeah, she's playing good.
What did you guys think about the, sorry, Case, to jump in this one, but what did you take away from this game the most? It was kind of a game that you guys almost needed. You guys looked good from the jump, but what did, I guess, Coach Jody and the team say after the game?
Yeah, we knew we needed this game. Obviously, we have a stretch of games coming up that could be the difference before we go into our little 10-week or 10-day break, with our bye. But yeah, we knew we needed that Fire win, and it was awesome to get it done.
And on another note, interesting that you guys have quite a few home courts. You've played at Franklin, you've played out west, you're going to play up north in Whangarei this week. How has it been trying to sort of adjust your routines to having so many different things to adjust to?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. We can't go home in between the shoot around and go relax. We hang out as a team and stay in the area waiting for our game. So that's a little bit different and definitely an adjustment. But it is cool to get around and see all the different fans and touch base with all, the different high schools around the place. So that's a massive plus for us.
And about time you got to the far north. I mean, about time we're going up to Whangarei for the Northern Kahu.
Right. We're excited to get up there, and I heard it's a sellout crowd, so
awesome.
It'll be good.
Love that. Now, one team I know that you will not be waiting to get your hands on is the Tukumanawa Queens. They had another big game down in Aotearoa, took on the mainland Pauakai, and man, Dodson, we expect nothing less from Carr, Watts, they all got busy. What do you take away from this game?
Yeah, that was massive for the Queens, and it was cool to see the Pauakai imports, the 2 new imports they brought in. It's cool to see them in action. Pauakai is going to be a team to watch for, though, with their other import out, with a few of their other key players on the bench when they get back in, how they can turn that around, because, yeah, the Queens are rolling, and that was big for them.
For the Pauakai, I really like the way that Jasmine Dickey plays. You know, she's aggressive off the wing. She's got a lot of strength for that sort of swing player, can go inside and started to show a little bit more form with the jump shot as well. But once again, the Queens, man, the pace with which they played, stayed close for a while, but eventually Steph Watts, Kristlyn Carr, the pressure they're putting on defenses to get back in transition is just draining the energy out of teams down the stretch.
Well, I'll tell you what, to drain energy out of a team and keep someone like the Hoiho to just 59 is what you guys did down in Dunedin. To wrap up the week, you guys won this one 59-67, but Amari Thomas, geez, she was big, 31 points, and you guys got the win down in Otago.
Yeah, Amari is massive for us. I mean, we run a lot of sets for her, and it's going to be a hard time to shut her down, or Penina, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, it was a big win for us, and we're happy that we could finally hand Hoiho a loss.
And for me, two of the teams with some of the premier interior players in the competition. I mean, Ashton Prechtel, the way she's playing, who somehow we haven't mentioned yet, another 20-rebound game. But the way the combination of Penina Davidson and Amari Thomas worked together and really kept her from getting to her spots, especially offensively, was impressive. Can you share a little bit of the game plan for us?
Yeah, man. Prechtel is so much bigger in person than she looks on the screen, and for anyone that hasn't seen her live, they need to get out and watch her, because she is a massive force. And yeah, I know I got blocked by her a few times, but yeah, she's massive for them and will be a key piece in this league.
She had 5 of those blocks, by the way.
She's pretty good.
15 points, 21 boards, 5 blocks.
It's not bad.
It's not line.
Now, you guys, obviously, you can fill it up, but I think one thing you would take away from this game is that you managed to keep them to 59 points. There's positives galore, but that has to be the one.
Yeah, for sure. Defense has been a massive key for us, and yeah, with a lot of these teams, defense is going to be a massive key for everyone if they want to pick up some wins.
Well, picking up some wins, it is congested. Every game at the moment seems to be like it's a playoff contender game. The Queens sitting at number 1 at the moment, 3 wins, 1 loss, and they're rapidly. They managed to pick up 3 in there as well. The Kahu, 3 wins, big weekend for you guys. The Hoiho, we're sitting at number 1. This is how congested it is. Those 3 wins and 1 loss now in the Pauakai. Still trying to get their first win in the main one, but the Rapid League, they have picked up 4 points, and the Phi down the bottom there. Still struggling, but the season still has a long way to go. Now, the Queens, the Kahu, and the Hoiho all separated by just 2 points. Every game is massive at this point.
Yeah, every game is massive, and yeah, the Rapid League is also starting to become a feature for that. Yeah.
Well, before we get into the Rapid League, I just want to, with 5 teams in the competition, 4 teams make the finals, how much emphasis are you guys as a team, or the Kahu as a squad, putting on getting a top 1, top 2 seed? Is that really important, or is it just get in and we take care of our business then?
A little bit of both. It's obviously ideal to be a top 1 or 2 seed and have, theoretically an easier matchup come that Final 4 round, but right now the job is just to get in the top 4 and make sure that we have a spot there. So yeah, it is getting
do that job first.
Right.
Do that job first.
Well, let's take a look at the Rapid League. We call it the Rapid Wrap of the Rapid League. And I found it very interesting that yourself, because you had been averaging 40 minutes, you hadn't come off up until this point, and Amari Thomas against the Phi, you guys played in the Rapid League. You obviously played huge extended minutes when it came to the competition as well. But run us through that conversation you had with Jody. Do you say, hey, I want to play this week? Does Jody come up to you and go, hey guys, you're going to be a part of the Rapid League this week?
A little bit of both. I know, me and Amari both knew that we need some rapid wins, and those 1 points, as we've been saying this whole time, the league is so tight, and I think by the time the end of the season rolls around, all those rapid wins and all those 1 point games are definitely going to make a difference.
Hold on, let's talk about the process here. The first time you guys tried this, what was it? Was it like a minute 30 before you got in the ball game?
Yeah, something like that.
So playing that many minutes, you're playing a lot of minutes in rapid, you're playing a lot of minutes in the Tauihi. How's that minutes load on the bodies this early in the season?
For me personally, I think I'm fit enough to do it.
You are.
Yeah,
you can brag on TV. It's fine. This is an interview.
But yeah, no, me and Amari both, as I said, we just want our team to win and we needed our team to get rolling. So hopefully, we can step out and let some of our younger players take more of a leadership role in those rapid games. But for now, we just want to get our team rolling and help us find a good flow.
Well, I watched that one against Tauihi when I was on commentary, and I was like, when is Jody going to get these players out? They're up like 20 points. There's only 4 minutes in the quarter. Take a rest. No rest. No rest for you guys.
No rest for us. No rest for the Wicked. And we'll take it. We'll play those games, and Amari's out there to win games, and she's here to do a job. And
Ballin'.
Has it helped as well, because you guys have been struggling from deep, and in the game against the Fire, you came in, you hit a couple of threes in Rapid League, and then you come into the ball game when you start in the main game, and you come out and you hit the first 4 threes. Like, do you find a little bit of a rhythm? There's obviously that break with the warm up, but just to see a few go through.
Yeah, 100%. It builds a little bit of confidence, I think, and as you mentioned, seeing the ball go through the hoop definitely gives you that confidence to shoot it in the main game and do what you were doing in the Rapid.
But vibe check. Nobody's listening. Nobody's paying attention. None of the officials.
Get a case.
Are you enjoying it? Is it good? Do you like it?
I love the Rapid League, especially like playing against Fire and seeing some of those young girls. I know like Palace is super young but so skilled. Like seeing them come out and see some confidence and see the skills that they bring to the game, it's awesome. Yeah, to see that and for them to get a chance to show that on TV.
Yeah.
Now that's enough talking about the Rapid League. Let's look at the Rapid Rap.
Game 1 saw the Queens take care of the Fire. Eva Langton shot making, propelling Tokomanawa to a 35-24 win.
They're going to try and reply, and they do. The Queens respond.
Karere Atua Williams dropped 10 points in a Pouakai win over their neighbours. Tyler Mitchell putting together another good Rapid League performance for the Hoiho with 9 points in the loss. And in the Kahu's first game of the week, points by committee was enough for the win. Asia Anderson, Amari Thomas and our very own Crystal Ledger-Walker all chipping in with 7. And in the closest Rapid League game of the year was 17 from Jacinta Beckley that gave the mainland Pouakai the win. Ivy Brown chipped in with 7 as the mainlanders outscored the Queens 9-2 in the last stanza to nab the comeback win. And finally, Keely Tinney led the way as the Kahu grabbed their second win of the weekend. Tinney with 11 points and 5 rebounds leading the way for the Northerners as they returned back from the Deep South with 4 competition points.
Now let's take a look at the Tall Blacks. It looks like they've really kicked off their official road to the Philippines. Their first squad of 14 has been named. We take a look. Taylor Britt, big season, obviously just wrapped up with the Rams. And his buddy right there, Walter Brown, hell of a year he's had, hell of a career we all think he is about to have. And one of the other young guys is at the very top there, Pera Cameron's son, Flynn Cameron. 3 of the young guns who are looking to book a spot in this Tall Black squad to play in the World Cup. And they start this, obviously they've gone to Japan, then they're going to shoot over to Germany, and then they go to China, and then before you know it, they're in the Philippines, and they're about to be playing Giannis Antetokounmpo and Team USA, which is amazing for the Tall Blacks, but the road there first is a little tough.
Well, Giannis might be out. He had surgery. There's a lot of rumors that he's not out. So that helps a little bit. Helps a little bit. I got to say, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy. But look, not a lot of prep time at this time of year. There's only going to be, I think, 7 games in total across all those tournaments. A lot of practice. You got to get familiar with these guys. Great to see, the talent flooding back in. Loving to see Isaac Fotu, Ruben Tarangi, Finn Delaney, those guys leading from the front. But it's always really interesting at this time of year to see the young guns get in, and especially Walter Brown. He's just, I think, is he still 19, 20 years old? Coming in his own defensively. But as a young player, your first time coming through, what was it like for you trying to latch on to the squad those first few times you got there?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough getting into that mix, representing your national team and getting in there with players that have already been around, very experienced, and the international game is a lot different than it is just to a normal league. There's not much time to get ready. You have to show up straight away. So many outside factors that come with travelling and going into different cultures. So, yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
Do the tall ferns get as sick of each other as the tall blacks do? Because of like 3 weeks in, we're just like climb up the walls.
Right, no, you definitely have to take some solo walks and, get out and get some fresh air for yourself, to stay fresh and not take it out on your teammates too much.
I only had one really bad roommate, Brooke.
Come on, man.
Jokes, bro. Jokes, bro.
Run us through the Asia Cup that you guys just had, because hell of a run. We were back home watching. I think we saw a brand new, I don't want to say side or style, but you guys let everybody know that you were there.
Yeah, for sure. And we were actually a real young squad, I think. You know, Panina and Stella and even Charlize were the main only three that had played a lot of international tournaments. So there was a lot that we had to learn really fast. But yeah, I'm really proud of how we did, and awesome that we're on to the next stage.
And there's going to be a lot that this Tall Black squad's going to have to learn in a short amount of time. I mean, as much experience as there is, not a ton of experience at the World Cup level. And when you get to the World Cup, all the lights are brighter, man. There's the vision of the basketball world outside the United States is all right there. It's focused on it. And, you know, one of my favorite experiences at World Cups is you're just getting there and you're walking through the hotel and all of a sudden you say, oh, there's Spain with the Gasol brothers and Ricky Rubio and Fernandez, and you're like,
just trying to get your head around
it.
Yeah,
we belong here. Just trying to. Can I pull off as much swag as these guys are pulling off? I cannot. I could not do it.
Well, speaking of swag, and one player who has swag when you talk about playing basketball in New Zealand, and his brother as well. One thing we didn't see on the list is the Webster brothers. Now, we're not really sure why, but just talking about how much of an impact it is not going to be having what is potentially your starting backcourt. I think Ty just exudes confidence in all the boys in a different way that maybe anybody else can, and we know what Corey's capable of doing. If they're not at this World Cup, what does it mean for our Tall Blacks boys?
Well, I do think a real hit gets taken out of the Tall Blacks in terms of playmaking. Ty Webster with the ball in hand, he's got a real high-level athleticism that I think not a ton of Kiwis have. You know, his ability with the ball in hand to create opportunities for himself and his teammates is really top of the table, and that's why he's had such a great career. For Corey, I mean, that guy's a bucket down the stretch, man. Yeah. You don't really have that player who you could just give the ball to when everything else is broken down and say, go to work. And so Corey missing that, you know, I'm not sure of everybody's situation. You know, looking at Corey, he's played basically 12 straight months of basketball. I'm sure he's tired. He's up there in the early mid-30s. But it takes a lot of time. And if you're not going to be at your full in, if you're not all in with the Tall Blacks, if you're not all in with the Tall Ferns, you know, you're better off doing something else, because the mental and physical strain is just too much.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, gives another opportunity for someone else to step up. I'm excited to see how Flynn does and how he goes. I know he's super athletic and had some cool dunks last time he suited up for the Tall Blacks.
Look, I'm really high on Flynn Cameron. Yeah. Not just because I used to make him and his brother wrestle when they were like 3 years old, but because the way he played in Asia Cup last year, with what I think his strengths to the game, the physicality that he's going to bring to that point guard position, I think is really going to translate well internationally. He's just got to get around that coach.
He might be all right. Now, one person that I have heard high things about, and we just haven't seen him for the last year, and I think that's for the better, is Finn Delaney. Now, Finn Delaney's been over in Europe. He's been doing amazing things, but from what I've heard, with no disrespect to any of the other players, is that Finn has just come back on a completely different level. You can see that he's right now head and shoulders above everybody else, and it's kind of an interesting one because you've always started Ruben Tarangi at the 3. You've always started Isaac Fotu at the 4. Finn can't really start at the 5 at the international level. So one of them probably has to miss out. Does Isaac now miss out, or does Ruben miss out? Because Finn is at a different level right now, which is great for the Tall Blacks, it's great for the Breakers, but it's a good headache for, I guess, our coaching staff to have.
Well, I mean, I think you can speak to it, Crystal, but when you get to the national team, it's all about sacrifice. And so players have to play out of position. They have that decreased minutes load. And on the Tall Ferns, have you had a player come in that's had to give up more of herself than would be expected in another club?
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone's sacrificed a little bit and adjusts their role, but what an awesome problem to have, you know, too many stars on a team or too many options. But yeah, for sure, I know, you know, the likes of Talia could play 1 through 4 almost in our team, and yeah, she'll just take on whatever role that she needs to for that game and yeah, do whatever the coach tells her to do.
Well, that's what you do. International basketball, baby.
Fingers crossed she is back for you guys. So now, good luck to our Tall Blacks. Obviously, that campaign is about to kick off. We are backing you guys 100% the whole way. Now, speaking of that amazing talent, fingers crossed you guys have her back. But obviously, the game last night between the Hoiho and the Queens, the Hoiho got that one done. And now we talk about coming up next in Northern Kahu versus the mainland Pauakai. It is in Whangarei. It is finally back up, like we said earlier in the far, far north. It is sold out. How are we feeling about the game that is about to take place?
Yeah, we're excited to be there. I mean, as we mentioned earlier, those 2 imports are back in. They weren't there last time, so going to be a whole new game plan for us going into that. But yeah, excited to get it done. Pauakai's looking to get, you know, a main game win. So yeah, they'll be coming out firing.
Well, Another team that's going to be firing on Friday night, the Whai and the Southern Hoiho. Especially the way that the Hoiho are playing, they feel like they have something to get back after losing to you guys. And then some Sunday Arvo hoops. It's the Queens and the Whai from Aotearoa to finish things up. Let's just talk really quickly. Case, we'll start with your key game of the week.
Well, for me, it's going to be that Tokomanawa Queens game versus the Whai. The Whai, if they don't get that against the Southern Hoiho, which I think is going to be a struggle for them because of the interior strength of the Hoiho, they're really looking at a big hole. If they're going to have to put a lot of pressure on themselves to come away with at least one win this week, and if it's going to come on the back end of a doubleheader, that's a lot to ask for the Whai, especially with the pace with which the Tokomanawa Queens are playing.
And yourself, Crystal, what's your key matchup for this one?
My pick of the week, I'm going to go with the Whai and Hoiho matchup. They might not have the size inside, but both of those bigs on both teams can shoot it from the outside. So I'm excited to see how that goes down and see them stretch the floor. And
get a case.
I don't buy it. Your game of the week has got to be the Kahu coming up against the Poakai. Your game. Tell us about your game. That's what we want to hear about.
True, right. That should be the one I'm definitely focused on. But like I said, we're excited for it. We're excited to get up north, see those fans up there, and hopefully give them a great game to watch and give them something to go away with.
Well, congratulations on the season you guys are having. I know by your standards, you're probably still thinking at the moment, okay, we've dropped a couple that we shouldn't have, but it feels like that rhythm is finally there. Maybe it started with the Rapid League. Good luck tonight with everything else going on. And don't forget, guys, Kahu and Poakai live next from the far, far north. Casey, Crystal Ledger Walker, thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Mackay Stadium is a good venue. I watched Daryl Cartwright get married there.
We got married?
Fun fact.
Oh, there you go.